My name is Stella, and I'm from Girl Scout Troop 65161. I'm here with the rest of my troop to share some alarming facts about pet overpopulation in the U.S.
Shelters are jam-packed. Cats and dogs roam the street. We as a troop have decided to step up and educate the public about how important it is to spay and neuter your cat.
The average number of litters a feral cat produces is 1 to 2 a year. The average number of kittens is 4 to 6 per litter.
The average number of litters a fertile dog produces is 1 a year. The average number of puppies is 6 to 4.
The cost of spaying and neutering a pet is less than the cost of raising puppies or kittens for a year.
Only 1 out of every 10 dogs born will find a permanent home. Homeless animals outnumber homeless people 5 to 1. It's impossible to determine how many stray dogs and cats live in the United States. The United States estimates for cats alone range up to 70 million.
25% of dogs that enter local shelters are purebred.
Many strays are lost pets that were not kept properly indoors or provided with identification. More than 35% of cats are strays.
Only 10% of animals received by shelters are spayed and neutered.
83% of pet dogs and 91% of pet cats are spayed or neutered.
Of the dogs entering shelters, approximately 35% are adopted, 31% are euthanized, and 26% of dogs who came in as strays are returned to their owner.
Of the cats entering shelters, approximately 37% are adopted, 41% are euthanized, and less than 5% of the cats who came in as strays are returned to their owners.
Each year, approximately 2.7 million dogs and cats are killed every year because shelters are too full and there aren't enough adopted homes. That's 1.2 dogs and 1.4 million cats. We have Peggy and Diane here from PAWS of Wakefield to answer a few of our questions.
Where do the cats that don't get adopted go?
We are a foster network and not a shelter, so the cats that we take in stay in our foster homes, and they live out, the ones that don't get adopted live out their natural lives in our foster homes. We don't euthanize cats.
What is FIV in cats?
FIV is kind of the equivalent of the human virus, HIV. It's a little different in cats. It doesn't have an immediate negative effect on their health unless there's some other stressor, sickness or environmental stress that brings up an issue for them. So it's an immune-compromised disease. And you need to just keep your eye on things like colds, infections, and keep them healthy, keep them indoors, give them good food, and they can live out a pretty normal life.
What happens when cats are not spayed or neutered?
Well, I think you had the statistics before. They have litters, and they have lots of litters, and we have lots of kittens. And a lot of times those kittens, by your own statistics that you just talked to us about, don't get adopted. So by spaying and neutering, or neutering your cat, you prevent those litters from being born, and therefore you prevent suffering in these cats.
Why should you not declaw your cat?
Well, declawing is more than just taking the claws off of the cat's paw. It's amputation past the first knuckle, which can be quite painful. A long healing process is involved. They can also end up with phantom pain in their feet and toes afterwards, so you'll end up with things like litter box issues where they don't feel comfortable scratching in the litter box, and then they find something nice and soft like a couch or a bed instead. They also can turn into biters because they no longer have that natural defense mechanism of the claws. So we're an organization that asks people not to declaw their cats when they adopt from us because we think that it's inhumane.
Why should I keep my cat indoors only?
By keeping your cat indoors, you prevent a lot of the dangers that are out in the wild. And it's not just things like cars, which would be the first thing we would think of. But there are also other wild animals that will go after cats, like coyotes, fisher cats. There's dogs that will go after cats. cats that are outside, besides being potentially harmed by other animals and cars and humans, are also subject to more diseases outside, so that they're very vulnerable to being hurt or injured and being killed on the outside.
How often should I take my pet to the vet?
Well, annually is a good rule of thumb. So every year you want to take your cat to be examined to make sure the vets don't find any issues that would go unnoticed, as cats, like a lot of animals, hide illness. So you might not know until it's too late that they're having a problem with their teeth or with their heart. Once they get older, they usually will recommend more often, but a year is a good rule of thumb.
How much should I feed my cat, and what happens if they get too big?
Oh, that's a really good question. The best thing to do is talk to your vet about your specific cat and what your cat needs. The other thing is you don't want to free feed. That means leaving food out all day long, because if a cat gets bored, they'll eat, and then they get overweight. So the first thing you want to do is talk to your vet about how much you should feed the cat. You want to feed a high quality, the highest quality food that you can. And you also then, if your cat does get overweight, then you need to work with your vet to put your cat on a diet. You want to be very careful, though, because if cats lose weight too quickly, they're subject to a liver disease that can actually be fatal. So they need to lose weight slowly. So the best thing to do is talk to your vet.
And exercise them.
Oh, and exercise them, yes.
Also, why is playing with my cat important?
Yeah, that's part of it, is exercise. You know, it's just like people, right? We have to go out and we have to exercise to keep ourselves healthy. It's the same thing with your cat. With a cat, particularly when they're indoors, it's a little more difficult. What you have to do is you have to be proactive. You have to get that little laser light or the little feather on a string and play with them. Give them some interactive toys. There are all kinds of things that you can do. Give them, some cats fetch, so you can throw a ball and they'll bring it back to you. Not a lot of cats do that, but some. They're pretty stubborn. But little mice that they can bat around the floor. Give them things they can do on their own, but also you need to take some responsibility too and play with them every day.
What do you do with shy cats?
Shy cats, I think it depends on why the cat is shy. So we talked about cats that are being born outside and kittens that are being born outside. Sometimes they're not used to being around people, so you need to be aware that they're going to be nervous around fast movement and loud noise, and try and have a calm environment and keep kind of bringing them to you, pulling them out of their hiding place. That's probably the most common reason cats are shy. It could also be that they don't really like other cats. It's not that common, but it does happen that some cats get scared around other cats, other dogs, so there might be something in the environment that you can change and work with them. And usually some kind of toy that's not too fast moving would be good to draw them out. Maybe treats, but you have to be careful about giving them too many treats too.
What do you do if you can't take care of your cat anymore?
You call us. Really, what if you can no longer take care of your cat, you need to call either a shelter or a rescue organization like PAWS of Wakefield, because we don't want you to just let your cat outside or to give it to someone who may not be responsible for the cat. So best thing to do is to call a shelter or a rescue organization like PAWS of Wakefield.
Who do I call if I see someone hurting an animal?
That's a tricky question. Probably the police or an animal control officer in your community would be the best option. We tend not to get involved with legal kind of issues like that, but it'd be great to speak up with someone. A teacher at school would probably be good if you didn't know how to contact anyone else and ask them to contact police for you.
Sarah's holding some of the flyers for cats waiting for their forever home. Please consider an adoption before your next pet.